Right, this is a pile of scrap PCs and printers I've had in over the last couple of years. Probably the ones at the bottom, the printers, Epsons, at least 2 years old. I'm going to pull a couple out and we'll experiment with these cleaning solutions. Now 90% of these in here are all dead due to printhead problems. So let's see what we can do. We'll just pick one from random. Right, we have two scrap printers from me pile out the back. We've got an Epson SX 400, about 15 months old, been sat out there. Epson DX 6000, about 2 years old. I've done quick test copy, photocopied and that on both of them. Result 1. Everything's coming through but the black. Okay, but it has been sat there for 2 years. So here we go. That's that one. Same with the X6000. Original. And that's what the results are at the moment, straight from the warehouse. Okay, so with machine DX6000, I'm going to use Icocleaner. With the SX400, we will use a thing called Wizz, which is from the pound shop. It's a window cleaner. I'm going to give them both a go. It might take us 24 hours to soak them. We'll see how we go. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is good old kitchen cleaner. Cut it into about 2 centimetre strips. You want at least 3 to 4 for this particular job. They have to be cut, otherwise they won't fit in the machine. Okay, we open the lid. Okay, power can be on, it's not a problem, but we'll turn it off anyway, just for safety reasons. Don't want anybody out there getting an electric shock. This will fit in the well where the carriage moves across with the waste pads and things. Okay, so we lay one on, make sure it's fitting. 2, 3, we'll put those in. I'll show you where they are in a second. I'll bring the camera in. Right, so they're laid in the bottom. Just there. Can you see? So what we do now is get some Icocleaner with this one, because this is the Icocleaner test. Okay, get the lid. What I tend to do is spray it into the lid, not into the machine, and we can pour it in. So about 6 or 7, maybe a bit more. We get a little pool inside, and we'll just gently pour it over the tissue or kitchen roll. Do it again. Give it a good soaking. This does evaporate quite quickly. A couple of hours and it'll be dry. So you've got to do it several times. So we'll pour that in. Okay. Put it one side. Bring you back in. Now that's quite wet. So what we need to do is get the carriage over the top. This is the tricky bit, because it sometimes catches and curls. So you need to fill the machine so we can move the carriage. So we'll switch it back on. As the carriage moves, once it moves, now pull the power out. Okay, now we've got free movement. We can physically move it, and as you can see, it's sitting on top. Look at the muck coming off straight away underneath. So yeah, all black. So what we'll do is put a bit more chemical on, let it soak, and I think I might put another strip on, so that'll be 4 strips in total. 4. So next one, it's not quite high enough. You're going to build up a layer so it touches. Right, stack in, a bit more chemical, and pour. So it absorbs, and gently move it across. Do a few rubs. And we'll let that sit for about an hour. Top it back up with some fluid, do it again, and we'll come back to it. Okay, this is the SX400, same choked heads. I showed you the sample earlier. Now this time I'm going to use Wizz glass and window cleaner. Now it's been recommended on a few forums on the internet after a bit of research. Same thing, little tub, fill it with the fluid, a few good squirts. Okay, right, we'll open it up, turn the power on to fool it so we can move the carriage. And it's way, any second, pull, and we should be able to move that from left to right. Okay, so now this is a bit tighter, it has a bar in the way, but same principle. Your strips, you can get them in. I'm going to put 4 straight into this one because I know it is quite deep. 2 there, just 1 in. And another 2. And our fluid. You've got to be careful with this and watch where you're pouring it. Just make sure it gets on the pads. There we go. Now, slide it across. Good clean. Now this doesn't evaporate as quick as the ISO cleaner, so you shouldn't have to put another load on for a couple of hours. With the ISO cleaner on the other machine, you'd probably have to do it every hour for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. Right, we'll close the lid and come back to it in an hour. Right, back to the first printer using the ISO cleaner. This is the second batch of liquid I'm putting on. Again, a few squirts. Move the carriage back over, drop, and a few more wipes, and leave it a bit till later when we go back to the other machine. Okay, machine with the ISO, the 2-year-old machine, is now, we're going to take it apart, give it a test, see what happens. Now, I've wet it 3 times over the space of 3 hours with the ISO cleaner. We'll see what happens. Take the old waste stuff out. Still quite wet, but as I say, the ISO cleaner does evaporate, so you do need to keep topping it up every hour. Down. Power back in. Turn it on. Give it a couple of seconds to warm up. This is quite harsh on your fingertips, so wash your hands afterwards if you get it on your fingers, because it does sting, especially if you've got some little cuts on your hands. Good stuff. Almost ready. I'll do an exact same photocopy that we did at the beginning once it's warmed up. Now I have had to put a full set of new cartridges in, but the price of these cheap ones these days, pennies, under a £5, so well worth it, just to see if you can get it going. We'll do a copy, start, see what happens. Well, it's a lot better than that. It would have had to press colour copy, wouldn't it, instead of black and white. Colour. First copy when we first started. This one. And away we go. Big difference. Mine, that's it. One more. So that is using Icoclean. That is only a photocopy, so I'll do a 5-bar gate under maintenance. Nozzle check. And there we go. All gates, I know you can see with this camera, are all working fine. Not one choked head. And that's with ISO cleaner on a 2-year-old machine that's been sat in the warehouse. Right, back to the machine using the Wizz window cleaner. Now, I had to change the cartridges in it. Well, the black had run out, so anyway, we've done the clean, moved the head and back and forwards, let it soak for a few hours. Quite a bit of dirt coming out. That's the copy we're using, as I showed you earlier. We'll do a photocopy. Copy. Okay, doing one colour copy now. That was a sample before we cleaned it. In its own time. There we go. Unfortunately, very small improvement between the two. Bottom one is the cleaned, top one was the first. So really, not that impressed with the Wizz. But for £1 a bottle, it's worth a go. Right, unfortunately the machine with Wizz, okay, I showed you these before we use the Wizz. Slight improvement with the black after we use the Wizz. I tried it a second time with some more fluid, didn't work. Then we'll try to use ISO cleaner again on this one. No difference, unfortunately. This is one of the machines that's got away from us and we can't repair, so we're now just going to scrap it. The next project, if you keep posted, is going to be my favourite printer of all, the i9950. Unfortunately the printhead's gone. It's £100 for a replacement, which is this one here. That thing there. We'll give that a clean with some Icoclean when I get my inks and stuff in, because I'm running low on inks, so there's no point starting without a full set of inks. And the ISO cleaner will clean, will hopefully revitalise this. So keep posted. Video will be up hopefully in the next couple of weeks.